Welcome to Cloud AIOps Hub. In this channel, we make complex platform engineering simple using real-world analogies.
Hey, thanks for joining. We are kicking off a brand new mini-series all about Amazon RDS for PostgreSQL. And today, we're starting right at the foundation, the infrastructure. My goal here is simple. By the time we're done, you won't just know what the pieces are, you'll get the why behind the entire design.
All right, let's just dive right in with a tough question. I talk to a lot of teams, and almost everyone says they use managed databases. But I want to push back on that a little. What does that word managed actually mean in your daily work? Are you sure it's as managed as you think? Let's be really honest here. If you or your engineers are still SSHing into an EC2 instance to install PostgreSQL, if you're manually applying patches, if you're scripting your own backups, then I'm sorry, but your system is not truly managed. You're basically just running a database on someone else's computer. A truly managed service makes all that operational pain just go away. And this gets to the absolute heart of what we're talking about today. Most teams get stuck in the weeds just running databases, but very, very few are taking a step back to design the systems that run those databases for them. And that difference, that is the leap from a DevOps mindset to a platform engineering mindset.
So to make this crystal clear, let's use an analogy. Running PostgreSQL on EC2, that's like owning a house. You're on the hook for everything. The plumbing breaks, that's you dealing with OS patches. The roof leaks, you're the one handling a hardware failure. You have to install the security system. But with Amazon RDS, now you're renting a luxury apartment. The landlord, which is AWS, takes care of all the maintenance, the security, the repairs. You just get to move your data in and focus on what matters.
Okay, so if RDS is our fancy apartment, what does the rest of the building and maybe even the neighborhood look like? Let's take that analogy and map it, piece by piece, directly to the AWS infrastructure that makes it all work. This table lays it all out beautifully. Look, at the center, you have your apartment. That's the RDS instance itself, your AWS DB instance. That apartment exists inside a building complex, which is technically called a DB subnet group. Now, that group is told it can only be built on certain private streets, which are your AWS subnets. And the entire neighborhood, the streets, the building, it's all inside a secure, gated community, your virtual private cloud, or AWS VPC. See how it's all nested together for security and organization? Now, of course, we're not going to build all of this by clicking around in the AWS console like it's 2012. No way. We define this entire blueprint as code, using a tool like Terraform. That's how we make it repeatable, reliable, and auditable. So step one is the AWS VPC resource. This is our gated community. This simple block of code you see here defines that big outer wall. It's the highest level network boundary that completely isolates our database system from everything else. Nothing gets in or out without permission. Okay, inside our gates, we need to pave the roads. These are our private streets, which in AWS is the AWS Subnet resource. Now, the absolute crucial part here, defined right in the code, is that this subnet has no direct path to the public internet. It's a dead end. This is ground zero for database security. Next up is something a little different, the AWS DB subnet group. Now, this resource doesn't actually create anything new. What it does is group our private streets together. It's like handing a blueprint to the construction company and saying, you are only allowed to build the apartment complex on these specific streets. It's how we control placement for high availability. And finally, the moment we've been waiting for. We actually build the apartment itself with the AWS DB instance resource. Right here in the code, we define the engine, the size, and, this is key, we pointed to the DB subnet group we just made. This is what guarantees our database is built safely inside, on our private streets, protected from the outside world. And this is the real aha moment. I want you to really get this. Terraform's job is to build the system. It builds the walls, the streets, the foundation. But once it's built, RDS takes over to run the system. RDS is the landlord that handles patching, backups, failover. The two work together perfectly to eliminate all that manual work we talked about earlier. Because of the architecture we just designed as code, the gated community, the private streets, we get this incredible security guarantee right out of the box. By putting our RDS instance inside that private subnet group, we have ensured that our data is never, ever directly exposed to the chaos of the public internet. So, what does this all really mean for you as an engineer? Well, it's a huge shift. It's a fundamental change in your role. You stop being a manual operator and you start becoming a system architect. A lot of people worry that managed services will make their job disappear. It's the exact opposite. Your role just gets an upgrade. You get to stop the boring, repetitive toil of running a database, and you graduate to the much more interesting, high-impact work of designing the automated, resilient systems that run databases for your entire company. And that right there, that is the absolute core of the platform engineering mindset. You're not just closing tickets anymore. You are building leverage. You are building the platforms that let everyone else move faster and safer. All right, so let's just quickly recap the big ideas. We started with the renting versus owning analogy to really understand the value of a managed service. We then mapped that to a real infrastructure blueprint with a VPC, subnets, and the instance. And we landed on that key takeaway. Terraform builds the system and RDS runs the system. If this explainer helped you see RDS in a new light, please make sure you subscribe to Cloud AIOps Hub. We're going to be putting out a lot more platform engineering breakdowns just like this one. So, we've built our apartment building, but we haven't put any locks on the doors yet. What about security? Well, next up, we are going to tackle RDS security and access, and we'll explain it just like your front door lock and the building's rules for who gets a key. It's going to be a good one. See you then.